We have with us former Indian Ambassador Yogendra Kumar, who's also served in the Indian mission in Moscow. Thank you so much, sir, for making time for us. Our sources have now said that Russia has actually decided to discharge and facilitate the return of all Indians that have been working in the Russian army after our Prime Minister actually took up the matter with Mr. Putin just a few hours ago. What does this indicate about India-Russia relations? Is Putin cognizant of not taking this relationship for granted?
Well, I think the release or discharge which you're mentioning, actually it is rather more an outflow of the kind of a human trafficking network which actually operates, because of which some of our innocent Indians have actually been misled and they have actually then joined the Russian army. So I'm afraid actually, I think this is more an issue where both sides, India and Russia, can actually work together to actually crack these human trafficking networks. And this is, in a way, I should say, the emergence of a new kind of situation globally which is rising: transnational crime, terrorism, and even global instability in a way. I think the challenges today globally are very, very different now. The climate change is a big issue, where Russia is suffering, India is suffering, US, everybody is suffering. So the point actually is, as the Prime Minister has been saying, that, it's not the era of war, because the global challenge is so pressing that unless everybody comes together, everybody is going to go down, under the impact of these challenges. These are very, very serious challenges. And I think we have to do our best, all sides, whether it is US or Russia or India or whoever, to actually put these kind of conflicts behind us, because they actually have an effect on destabilizing the global order, which already is in a bad shape.
In fact, sir, experts argue that with Russia having an upper hand in the war and a possibility of Donald Trump returning as the US president later this year, the Prime Minister's visit is being seen as Delhi positioning itself for what could follow 6 months from now. How do you perceive the situation?
Well, I think it's rather unpredictable. I mean, Russia having an upper hand, perhaps, yes, but NATO is now re-energized in supplying weapons to Ukraine, and therefore, it's very difficult to say whether Russia actually is succeeding in this conflict, because even when there was a gap in the supply of weapons on the side of US and NATO, Russia did not make much of a headway in terms of the situation on the ground. So actually, I am really thinking that, there's a stalemate there. And of course, everybody's position rather entrenched. So I think the effort now has to be the global effort. Everybody of goodwill, who is actually concerned about the global stability, the effort now actually has to be to get different sides who are so rather deeply entrenched into their positions, which are rather irreconcilable, that they should actually, perhaps disengage from their entrenched positions and then perhaps work towards some kind of a solution. Because these problems are not going to go away. I mean, you have Ukraine on one side, you have conflict, one was reading about this conflict in Georgia. I mean, the instability in Georgia. You have conflict in Palestine. You have instability in different parts of the world, and these are actually draining the energies and the resources of the world. Now, climate change is upon us. I mean, we are facing climate change, whether it is, and Russia and US both. I mean, just think about the hurricane which is now creating havoc in the US, is impacting on the people's lives, on the economy, and so on and so forth. So, these kind of, what should I say, carry over of the Cold War, the messy dissolution of the Soviet Union, that phase has to put behind us and to work now in a manner where everybody actually has to pay attention to what the pressing issues are for us in the near future.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for joining us with your perspective. Always a pleasure to have you on the show.